Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's newcomers call. My name is Untitled Human, and I'll be the facilitator for today. It's good to have you all join the call. If you're new to the community, well, we have a culture where we do a quick introduction just so we get to know you better, and we'll do that before we get to any other things. So we'll do it this way. I'll introduce myself and then tell you a bit about how my day is going. And then I'll pass it on to the next person and you just go on till the circle is complete. So I hope we're good at that. All right, so hey everyone, my name is Anita Human and I'm a meshmate in the Layer5 community. I am a front-end developer as well as developer advocate. And my day is going well. Aside the fact that I got a cold, everything is good. All right, so that's just about me. Over to you, Oscar. How you doing? Can you tell us a bit about you?
Yes, I am a Fedora ambassador. I am a sysadmin, transitioning towards a DevOps engineer, and picking a Linux Foundation course. I find mystery, and I was like quite intrigued. And I also have a cold.
That makes two of us then. Get well soon, Oscar.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Thank you. All right, just tag any other person in the call to take up after you.
I'll probably go next. So I'm Utkarsh. I am software engineer at Layer5 and core maintainer of Mishri. And I don't have cold, no other updates actually.
Well, that's good to hear. So we don't think it's a flu. Okay, well, welcome to the call, Piyush. Piyush has been in the community for some time now, so it's good to have you join the call, Piyush. Can you just tag any person to go next?
Okay, I'll go next. Hi, this is Piyush, and I'm a software engineer at SDFC Life. I am a contributor at Layer5 right now. I like to spend time here. So that's why I'm joining the meeting right now.
Awesome.
Also, Piyush has been nominated for Mishri Cuddle Maintainer. So yeah, to be maintainer.
Okay.
That's also one thing.
Great to have you here. I think there's one more person who has not done an introduction. Or two, rather. Deep, have you done an introduction yet?
No, not yet.
Awesome. Over to you then.
Yeah. Hey guys, my name is Deep, and I'm in my pre-final year at BTech in Computer Science. As I've recently started my journey in open source, I want to contribute in different projects, and I'm glad that I found Layer5, and I hope that I learn new things in this community.
Well, it's good to have you here, Dave. I look forward to seeing your contributions. And there's so much you can also learn from the community. So good to have you here. Who hasn't done an introduction? I think that's all. Right? All right, so it's good to have everyone join the call today. Like I said, this is Layer5 Newcomers call. It takes place every Thursday, and we always have lots of awesome discussions, from demos about the project that we have in Layer5 to how to get started with your contributions, and also answer your questions regards anything that you have or any confusions that you might be facing contributing to any of our projects. We also take your suggestions as well, so those are always welcome. So it's good to have you join the call. If you haven't already, there's a membership form that you're required to fill. and this will give you access to our community drive, which has most of our files and documents. So you could also sign up and fill this community member form. It will help us get to know you better as well. So please do us look at this if you haven't done this already. And if you have, that's fine. Yeah, so this call is not strictly for newcomers. As you can see, there are some persons who have been in the community, but then we always make time to join the call and participate as much as we can. So yeah, like I mentioned, we do quite a lot of things on the call here. So you're welcome to bring your thoughts and your ideas alongside. And if you have any questions about anything at all, do what to shoot and to get you the right answers during this call. All right, so on to the next topic, we're going to be looking at what a meshmate is. You must have come across this either reading through the documentations or the guides. Well, a meshmate is simply members of the community who have been selected to help mentor you or guide you through your journey as you contribute to the community. So if you have any questions or any doubts, or you need a helping hand on any areas at all, a meshmate is the best person to refer to in this situation. They provide you with all the necessary resources that you need and also give you the necessary directions that you need to get started. So if you don't have a meshmate who you run to yet, this is the right time to, reach out to meshmate and drop a hello. Yeah. So these are the meshmates we have right now. You can reach out to any single one of them via the Slack, or just drop a random message in the Slack channels and one of these meshmates will reach out to you. All right. So do well to get yourself a meshmate. Now let's look at an overview of Layer 5 project. I'm going to try as much as possible to be fast about this because I think Utash is going to give us a quick demo on how to set up Meshry for those who would be interested in getting to know this. So we'll really appreciate that. So an overview of the project and the website. We have quite a number of websites here, most of which run on Jekyll, and you'll see the Meshry.io, one of our core projects recently adopted by CNCF. Yes, so Meshry is #1 service mesh management plane, and yeah, it does quite a number of things, like so much. If you want to know more about Meshry or contribute to this project, you should look through the documentation and you'll find out everything you need to know about Meshry. This project also runs on Jekyll, so you don't have to be an expert at that. Just need the basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and you get your contribution started with this. But then if you have further questions about setting up Meshry and the functionalities and all of that, you can also reserve them for when the Meshry maintainer will be doing a quick demo on understanding Meshry. Then we also have the Meshry docs, which also runs on Jekyll. This is what we looked at right here. If you want to contribute to this project, do well to look at the repositories. There are always very friendly issues available. And this is a documentation, so you don't have to bother about writing so much code. You can easily get started with that. And then the Service Mesh Performance, which is another project under the Layer 5 community that recently got into CNCF as well. Yes, so you can find out more about this project by reading guides, documents, and if you want to contribute to this, awesome. You know the right place to find, just check the repository, but then if you have further, the Meshmate are the best person to reach out to. We have quite a number of resources under this website that you can also find very, very helpful from our past presentations on the sections that we've had, and also those that were recorded during our meetups to best help you understand the project. So you can look through this, and I assure you, you'll find it really, really helpful. Then we have the Get Nighthawk. This is also another project in Layer 5. This is a burden project actually, which you would like to explore. This project has so much potentials that I I assure you, you want to look through. Recently changed it to Nighthawk from Get Nighthawk. So you can see that there's so many areas that you could create issues for, right? I think this needs to be changed as well. Back to Get Nighthawk. There's so many issues that need to be raised on this website. So why don't you just dive in already and get your hands dirty and start contributing? If you have further questions about this also, if the documentation doesn't provide enough answers, then reach out to a meshmate or check out the repositories and do what to ask questions. And if you want to contribute to the UI, which of course, you can see that this project, since it's still in its budding stage, it still needs so many hands, get it starting and working as expected. So if you have an experience with the UI and the UX end, then we'll really appreciate it on this project. Do want to get your hands dirty right there. And you can also look at the project description and understand why we actually set up this Nighthawk project and what we're aiming to achieve with this project. So you can look at the project guide and understand it better and see the best ways you could get your inputs in the project as well. And then we have the Layer5 site, which runs on Gatsby. I think this is by far the only project that currently runs solely on Gatsby. Yeah, I believe so. So the Layer5 website is where you find everything and anything about the community, yes? So if you want to, I think we have one more person. Hello, Abhishek. It's good to have you join us. All right, so if you're looking for any resources on Layer5 or the community, from the community down to the project and all of that, you can find that. Then we have, if you look at the navigation, we have the landscape, which is a project to help lay out a comparison between the different service meshes to help you determine which service mesh is the best fit for you or your organization. So you can also look at the landscape link and do the comparison on your end. And if you want to see or explore our project, we have quite a number of those. We looked at Meshry earlier, the Nighthawk, service mesh patterns, service mesh interface, and then service mesh performance. You can look at all of this project and see which is the best fit for you to get to yourself and start contributing. And we have our Learn site where you're going to see anything and everything you want to learn about the community. We have from books down to workshops. Then we have a learning path where you can get certified from taking each of these courses and to help you expand your knowledge on service meshes. This was recently launched, so it's like in its newest phase. I'm very sure you'd want to explore this. It has a hands-on guide from installing down to running Meshry and managing Meshry. All of this can be found in this course. It's going to be expanded subsequently, but for now, I mean, I'll be eager to jump into this if I was you. All right. Then we also have an interactive lab sections if you want to, try out some of the Meshry commands and all of that. And we also have the service mesh trainings. You can look through this at your own convenience. Then if you look at the community and under the navigation, you're going to see our members profile. We have a members profile where this is like our award board. So if you've been in the community for quite some time and we recognize your efforts, you don't have to stay for like forever. We immediately put your profile on here. So anyone who comes to the community recognize that, yes, you've made an impact in the community and we have your details up here. So this stays forever so long as you keep contributing to the community. We have quite a number of badges that are also issued out to each of the community members for their dedication to the respective project they're contributing to. So you can see that there are quite a number of badges that are up for takes. They can also earn this by just contributing to the project or your favorite project. You can also earn the maintenance badges or the meshmates badges. All of these are up for grabs. So do well to explore and find out more on how to earn those badges. I think we'll look at that much later. Then you can also see the newcomers guide Here you're going to see a quick guide on how to, navigate around the community and project as a newcomer, how to get your new issues and then start contributing. And down here we have tutorials to help you, best understand the project. Like I said, we have most of these tutorials during this course, just like we're going to have a quick one much later. And the essence of this tutorials we have here is, engage you in the project and also get you to best understand it to the point where you can confidently contribute and have an excellent experience while making your journey through the Layer 5 community. So you can look at these tutorials and there are slides available as well as the recordings. You can also reach out to the persons who recorded them to best understand. And then if you haven't subscribed to our calendar, please do well to subscribe. You don't want to miss any of the meetings, not the weekly website meeting, nor the Meshry meetings that happens on Wednesdays, not even the Thursday meetings, the newcomers meeting, not even the CNCF tag meetings, none of those. You don't want to miss out on all of that. So please do well to add this to your calendar so you get notified whenever the meetings comes up. And we also have our discussion forums and internships. If you are looking for an internship role in the Layer 5 community, then you're in the right place. We have quite a number of those which we've participated in previously, and we're actively participating in. So you can find this under the program section under careers. You see that we've participated in quite a number of those. And if you're looking for questions or you want to know how you can get into any of these internships, the Q&A provides the answers. But if this is not enough for you, please do also reach out to Meshmates for better answers. And then we have the blog for those who want to write articles or for those who are good with putting their words into writing. Awesome. You can also write articles under the community, or you can bring your topics and we'll look for the right authors to write them down for you. So you can also explore this for articles that have already been written, and you can also join the Blog Kitchen channel on Slack. Yes, so get started with your writing experience as well. You can find more resources also on this website. I think that's all the explorations we have for this website. You can look through the rest at your own convenience. And you can also look through the Figma project design to see the places that you feel you can best contribute or create issues and all of that. Then we also have hands-on tutorials that we've already pre-recorded on the Katakoda site. These tutorials will help you understand the service meshes and Meshry as a whole. So if you want to learn more, most of these are hands-on guide tutorials. So you might also want to look at this. It scans through learning how to run Meshry, installing service meshes, and deploying sample applications. So all of this can be found on this Katakoda site here. You can look through this and get yourself, learning a whole lot more. Yes, so those are the list of the tutorials we have so far. Then let's do a quick run through the repository overview. We have tons of repositories, but recently we have our project spanned across 4 GitHub orgs. Whichever one you choose to contribute to are all under the Layer 5 community. So we have the layer5.io GitHub, then we have the service mesh performance, the Meshry itself, and then service mesh patterns. Well, whichever org you choose to contribute to, rest assured that you're contributing to the Layer 5 community. And you can see we have quite a number of projects, from the front end projects to the back end projects. And whichever aspect you want to focus your energy on to best grow your end and also contribute to the community, that is also fine. Do want to look at this. We have different projects with different programming language that they're centered on, but mostly you see our front-end projects focus on Jekyll, React, and Gatsby. So these are the areas that you should be looking out for if you're on the front end. And then if you're on the back end, most of our projects are run on Golang. So you can also do also look at these and find the best places you can contribute to. And that is just a quick overview of the repositories. If you're looking for the right place to contribute or the right project, this is the right document for you. So you can explore all of those right there. And right now, I think I'll just hand over to the measurement here now to give us a quick demo. We just want to give you an overview of what Mesh3 is all about, how Mesh3 is able to run on your system, and how you can set up. I'm sure you must have several questions. How do I install Mesh3 on my end? And you have so many questions about understanding Mesh3. Well, that's fine. We have our maintainer here who will give us a quick demo, and you should better understand once we're done with this. So over to you.
Yep. So let me share my screen. I'll try to be I'll try to set up Mesh3 from a user point of view. That is, let's say you are coming to Mesh3 for the first time, assuming you're newcomers. Of course, you're on the meeting. So what does Mesh3 do? Let's briefly go over it. Anita also did. Just let's talk about a bit more. So Mesh3 does performance analysis, performance tests. That is what you can do is you can generate load against your workloads, your services, your infrastructure, and then you can get results in form of SMP, service mesh performance. Service mesh performance is a specification which sort of standardizes that how you can compare test results of different service meshes. So let's say you have in one of your cluster, you are running Istio, and in another cluster, you're running another service mesh like Linkerd. What you can do is you can use Mesh3 to generate load and do some performance analysis and get the result back. And at the same time, you should be able, you can also compare the results coming from Istio as well as Linkerd. So what it does is basically sort of let you compare apples to apples rather than apples to oranges, like because every service mesh is could be extremely different. So the example that I took was Istio and Linkerd. Istio and Linkerd don't even use the same data plane. They use different data planes. Linkerd has their own, and Istio is using the Envoy one, which is quite common. If we talk about traffic mesh, which is another service mesh, they don't use data plane at all. They could use code DNS manipulation or something like that for traffic routing. So every service mesh is way too different. So to compare how they are performing, you need something standard, that is standardized, and that is what service mesh performance is. It's a specification, and as Anita mentioned, that it is. It was recently adopted by CNCF. It's a sandbox project now, just like Mesh3. Second is actually configuration best practices and patterns. You can actually, right now, the most prevalent support that Mesh3 has is for Istio. What you can do is you can actually basically install Istio, or if it is pre-installed, you can run a configuration analyzer, which will go ahead and run some test on your live Istio environment and will tell you what all you are doing right and what all you are doing wrong. So this screenshot is sort of old. This is not how our notifications look right now, but as you can see that some of them are green, some of them are red. Red are basically the indications that these are things probably you're not doing so right. Could be something that you can improve on. Let's move on to the next thing. SMI compliance. SMI is basically is an extremely important project. It's basically to standardize the APIs that are exposed by service meshes. So let's say, and SMI is heavily adopted by a lot of service meshes. Linkerd has plugin based support for SMI, so you can enable SMI. I think OSM is Open Service Mesh is built on SMI. A traffic mesh also supports a lot of APIs that are present in SMI specification, not all of them. And I think Nginx Service Mesh is also I don't think I know that Nginx Service Mesh also supports a lot of SMI constructs like traffic splitting and all. SMI is I begin with that SMI is extremely important. It's important because what it does, it's basically it creates some least common denominators. Like it will say that this is the way that traffic splitting traffic splitting or traffic routing specifications should look like in every service meshes. So what it does, what it allows you to do is that as a developer, if for example, Meshri lets you play with a lot of service meshes. Just for doing that, Meshri has to go through a lot of stuff, but we have adapters for all of the service meshes, just because their APIs are very different. So if you want to do canary deployment in Istio, it would look extremely different in Istio as it would look in Linkerd, or it would look in let's say console. Yeah, that's a good example. So these three would have an extremely different way that how you are doing actually canary deployment. So that is what SMI sort of tries to deal with. It's not perfect at the moment. It's not a very young project, but it's I think it's 3 or 4 year old project. It's 3-year-old project, I believe. So yeah, that's something that SMI tries to do. And SMI compliance, SMI conformance is something that Meshri supports. That is, you are running a service mesh, you want to check how conformant that service mesh is, you have SMI spec version XYZ, and you want to test your current service mesh, that how conformant that particular thing is with SMI. That's again something that Meshri has supported for a while now, actually. Yeah, it is supported for over 2 years, I believe. The third is WASM. WASM is a big thing. It's big thing on web. It's big thing on the data, on the backend side also. That is, you can actually drop in filters in on web-based data planes. So let's say Istio is running, you want to drop in a new functionality like rate limiting. Rate limiting is something that that Meshri has predefined WASM filters for. So what you can do is you may be running a service, and now you suddenly want that, okay, I want rate limiting built into it. So what you can do, you can actually code it up. Or what you can do is, if you're running Istio or you are running on web-based data plane, you can just click on Meshri's UI, and it will drop a rate limiting filter onto the data plane, and now you have rate limiting on your system. So there are a few caveats. This support is certainly new. It's very new. It's heavily being worked upon. If you're interested, you can actually come in and probably contribute here. I'll actually show that where we are basically where you can head towards to contribute to this particular thing if you're interested. So yeah, and service mesh patterns. This is also something that I have specifically worked a lot on. Service mesh patterns is actually it's actually letting you control your infrastructure in a way which is sort of Meshri certified. I shouldn't say Meshri certified. It's like that you can write YAMLs, as everything is in Kubernetes space. Everything is YAML. So patterns comes with pattern files. What it is basically a scaffolding of how your infrastructure should look like. So what you can do is you can tell in the YAML that I want Istio service mesh to be deployed on my cluster, and then I want application to be deployed on my cluster, and I also want Meshri to ensure that this thing happens in a canary rollout way. That is, if version 1 exists, and if I'm rolling out version 2, ensure that it is canary, and this should be the traffic split. That is how the traffic split should look like. So these are some patterns that Meshri would actually enforce while it's going through the workflow. So this is service mesh patterns. Service mesh patterns is a way broader topic, probably something we can discuss later. And the rest is quite quite simple. As I mentioned earlier, Meshri supports multiple service meshes. So this is, I believe this covers all of them that we support. Yeah, these are all of the service meshes that we actually support. You may be interested in Istio, may be interested in Linkerd, but I think that any service mesh that you might be interested in, I think Meshri would support that, because like we support a lot of them which you may not have even heard of, like Octream. So yeah, let's go ahead and try to run Meshri. And to be honest, I'll be doing this for after a very long time, because as a maintainer, we usually just make run fast to spin it up locally. From user point of view, this is what you'd be doing. Actually, what I did, probably someone might have missed that. So you can visit Meshri.io. You can go to run Meshri. I am on Mac, but I'll actually choose the bash user method. Not because brew is an issue, but because bash is certainly easy. What you can do is you can just copy the command. That's what I did. and you can go to your terminal, paste the command, and hit enter. Let it do its thing. What it's doing right now behind the scenes is basically it's fetching lee-calcote. Lee-calcote is the tool which I actually partially talked about earlier also. It's the tool that Piyush is going to be maintainer of. So if you face any issue here, you can actually harass Piyush because he's to be a maintainer. Right now, what happened was lee-calcote was downloaded from GitHub release. It was moved to my local bin so that I can access it from my CLI directly, from my terminal directly. And then lee-calcote actually basically ran lee-calcote system start. It is trying to deploy all of the lee pods onto Kubernetes. It's trying to deploy it on Kubernetes because I explicitly chose Kubernetes as platform. What you could have done is you could have actually chosen the Docker platform. But just a caveat, if you are going to run, let's say, if you're going to try app mesh adapter, in that case, if you're going to try app mesh adapter, in that case, it's sort of required that you are running mesh in Kubernetes because of a few caveats with the way app mesh works. Other than that, you can actually choose any of the platforms. Since I think this release, that is version 5, version 0.5. Not this release, this minor release, that is version 5, version 0.5. We are actually, the primary support is for Kubernetes and not for Docker, which used to be the case earlier. So let's see if it has actually set up every pod that I want. So I hope the screen is visible. The font size is fine. It is so what lee-calcote actually did was basically it deployed multiple pods or multiple mesh components onto my cluster. It's deploying it in mesh namespace. And a lot of components are here, a lot of pods are here. These are basically mesh adapters, all of the adapters. You can actually choose, if you have a lee-calcote installed, or you can actually go ahead and also choose that what adapters you want. Let's say you don't want all of them to be running on a system. Just say, let's say you are only interested in Istio, which could be the case because Istio is the most popular service mesh out there, at least right now. So let's wait for this to come up. A lot of components are there, so it's pulling everything over the internet. Okay, this is the most important component. This is actually mesh server, which is being pulled. We recently, actually I shouldn't say we have a contributor and mesh CI maintainer, Rudraksh. He recently worked on this particular issue. The image size of mesh was way too huge. It was around 2 gigs. It was recently reduced to around 200 megabytes, I guess. But still, it's too huge to be fetched, I guess. It's taking a while. While this is loading, what we can do is, if someone is interested in contributing, I can, let me go through that, how you can get started. So actually right now I was working on something. It's a multi-cluster support that is about to come into mesh. What it is about is basically bringing in multi-cluster support. That is, you can and you should be able to communicate with multiple clusters. Let's say you have staging 1, staging 2, and testing, and QA cluster and a production cluster. So what you should be able to do is you should be able to communicate with all of them at the same time. Let's say you want that I want Istio. Instead of asking on what cluster, you should be able to tell mesh, I want in all of them, and mesh would go ahead and actually provision Istio in all of the clusters. So that is what something I was working on. If you want to get started with contributing on mesh, what you can do is you can head towards GitHub. This is the repository. You can quickly come in here, click on this drop down, copy this thing, and head towards the terminal again and run git clone the thing that you just copied. It will clone it. You can cd into the directory. After that, the most important thing is you actually read this. That is contributing.md. Okay, let me open it here. This is actually something that I started with contributing. I started contributing to mesh about 1 year, 2 months, yeah, something like that. It's been over a year. So this is the place that I basically started. This is the document that I first read. This is also available in docs.mystery.io, I believe. But this is the place that I first read that what the project is about, that how can I get started, what components are here, and how to actually sign your commits. Signing commits is extremely important because the DCO fails. So definitely this is a place you can actually come in and read more if you are interested in contributing. Okay, as I was talking, I think Mystery is up. Mystery is up. So what I just did is I shouldn't be using my aliases. What I did was I ran kubectl get svc hyphen capital A. What it is going to do is it is basically going to list down all of the services, Kubernetes services that I'm running in all of the namespaces. The service that I'm interested in is this one, Mystery. It's of type load balancer. Doesn't concern at the moment what that is. If anyone doesn't know, this is the IP address where Mystery is available. And Mystery is almost always available on port 981. So let's head towards that port and the IP address. Okay, I missed the IP address. Okay, so this is the first interface that you would probably come to when you visit Mystery. It's going to ask you to select provider. What provider are? Providers are basically which mainly lets you allow persistence. There are different modes of persistence. If you select none provider, everything that you do is ephemeral. That is, as soon as, let's say, pod dies, definitely as soon as a pod dies, your data would be gone. So let's say you run some important performance test or you run a conformance test, everything would be lost. That's one of the things, persistence. While the others is that Mystery has a lot of extension points built into it. What it allows the providers to do is they can hook in multiple functionalities. So Mystery has extension point in UI. We can actually hook in custom stuff in the UI, custom functionality in the UI. You can, and this functionality can be anywhere. Let's say you want to run custom JavaScript on the UI, you can actually, a provider can do that. If you want to run custom Golang, that is, you have a Golang plugin, that is also extension point that Mystery supports. If you want to, let's say, drop in a new adapter, adapters are also sort of functionality that you can actually extend Mystery with. If you want to create your own adapter, this is the place you can, this is the this is sort of a SDK that you can use to create your own adapter. This is again in Mystery repository, Mystery organization. This is sort of an SDK that you can actually use to create your own adapters. Adapters can certainly be for supporting different service meshes, or it can be something else. It's not an enforcement that you have to support a service mesh if you are an adapter. So that's again an extension point. There are multiple extension points. You can read more about what different providers are, what they do, and what they don't. Let's select the Mystery provider. Okay, so now I am in the Mystery UI. It's saying that I'm using in-cluster config because I am. If someone have noticed, I actually deployed Mystery in Kubernetes, so that is why it's saying that I am inside the cluster. All of the adapters, not all of them, most of the adapters are actually active. I can ping them. Basically, these pinging is actually testing the connectivity. Along with testing connectivity, is also checks can the adapter communicate to the Kubernetes, which could also be important. You may want to ensure that your adapters can actually communicate to the Kubernetes. So this is the UI that you would actually see when you would spin up Mystery for the first time. There's something mesh map. This is something that you may or may not see depending upon if you have access to this particular plugin. This is a mesh map is a plugin which is supported by Mystery provider. If you are interested in mesh map, what you can do is you can actually you can sign up to the Meshmap beta program and you will have access to this thing. Meshmap is a visualizer. It is also an infrastructure designer. What it lets you do is it will allow you configure different pieces of it will allow you to configure different pieces of infrastructure. Let's say what you want to do is you want to provision Istio, then you want to provision an application, then you want to set up circuit breaking between two applications, and then you want to set up a canary deployment for the third one. So all of these things, these infrastructure designing that you probably do on a site like I don't think anyone does infrastructure designing on draw.io, but let's say you are using something like that. That is, you are creating an architecture for your infrastructure. The same you can do on mesh map. The only difference is that that is too static. Here you get to do all of those fancy stuff. At the same time, in the end, you can click apply and everything would be in your cluster. The reason I'm not yet clicking on it is because my system is a bit set up a bit differently right now. So I'm not sure if this would work. The reason it's set up differently is because my Kubernetes is running in different system. It's Linux, and right now I'm on Mac. So probably the plugin didn't download, and that's fine. Let's head over to dashboard again. There's a lifecycle management. If you would expand this section just like I did, what you would be able to see is all of the service meshes that Mesh supports. Let's say you want to provision app mesh. This is actually NSM, I believe. Yeah, this is network service mesh. Let's say you want to provision app mesh. What you can do is you can select a namespace, or if you don't have one, what you can do is you can create a namespace. Let's say test, and then you can actually come in here, click AWS app mesh, and it will provision the latest app mesh for you in the test namespace. I won't be clicking on this because I'm not running. I'm running kind at the moment, and app mesh won't work on kind. It can work on kind, but it will be too trickier to get it working on kind. If you want to run AWS app mesh, you are probably better off using EKS. That is AWS's Kubernetes offering. Let's say you want to run Citrix service mesh. Okay, Citrix adapter is not available. Let's say you want to deploy console service mesh on your system. The process is actually same. That is, you can actually click in here, select the namespace where you want to install stuff, and click in here, and it will actually provision console, the latest version of console on that particular namespace for you. The rest is actually pretty simple stuff. That is, I mean, this is a simple stuff. That is, you can actually, let's say you have provisioned a service mesh. Now you want to deploy a sample application just so that you can see that is everything actually working fine or not? Is everything set up correctly or not? Or you may want to provision a sample application just to perform some performance test, which we'll be talking about later. What you can also do is you can actually run the semi-conformance. Here we are showing only a semi-conformance because, as I was talking about earlier, that is, we do support best practices for service meshes, but the most prevalent support is at the moment for Istio. So if you would visit Istio and you would click here, you would actually also see analyze running configuration. So as I was mentioning, most prevalent support for Istio. So this is the actually configuration which we saw in the UI, where we were getting the basically detailed information. That is, this is the thing that you're doing right, this is the thing that you can improve on, this is the thing that you're doing wrong. And actually you can deploy add-ons, Grafana add-ons, Jaeger, Kiali, Prometheus. If you're not familiar with these, it's fine. You can actually look up what they exactly are. So these are basically, this is the lifecycle management. You can manage lifecycle of multiple service meshes from this particular section. Let's head over to configuration. Configuration is the new section. So this is a section I was talking about that we will talk about later. I was talking about filters at that point of time. This is something that is going to, and that is going to support something like dropping in new filters on the fly on onward data plane. This is something that Mesh as a server supports. So there are APIs that support this particular thing. So even today, you can actually set up a rate limiting filter on the fly, just hitting one API endpoint, but it's not as, basically it's not correctly, it's not exposed in the UI in the most user friendly way. So you do have this particular thing. If you go ahead and try to edit this thing, I'm not sure what it's going to show. Okay, it's showed. Let's try this. Okay. Actually, the thing that it is showing, that's actually accurate. This is actually accurate. But again, this is not the most user-friendly way. What you would want to see instead here is a nice form where you are actually configuring your rate limiting, or if you have a filter for, we have a filter, chart manipulator, which lets you manipulate charts on the fly. Obviously, it doesn't, if someone is concerned that, okay, if chart is getting manipulated, is the signature going to be retained? Signature doesn't, is not retained. It's a different concern. But yeah, we have another filter for chart manipulation. You may want to do chart manipulation for multiple use cases. Our user of Mystery had a use case for chart manipulation. That's why we actually created that particular filter. So yeah, we have those functionalities built into it, but they are not exactly exposed here in the most user-friendly way. So if someone is interested in the UI front, they are interested in React. This particular thing is, the Mystery UI is actually written in React. We use Next.js as a framework, but React is, we don't use Next.js sophisticated features as of now. What's a fancy Next.js feature? Okay, imagine a fancy Next.js feature, we don't use it. We use React, simple React. So if you're interested in React, you are interested in front end, go ahead and clone Mystery and you can start contributing. It's extremely simple to contribute. Another configuration section is actually patterns. Patterns is something which lets you do almost anything that you would want. So I'm actually searching for book info pattern. What it is, if anyone is familiar, basically if anyone is familiar with Kubernetes space even a bit, they would have heard they would have heard about an application called book info. What book info is basically a sample application. It's a distributed application, has multiple components, a review component, it has a ratings component, it has a product page component, and yeah, basically it has multiple components. All of them talk to each other, and you get a nice UI. You get to also see multiple features of distributed system. So this is a pattern for that particular thing. This is the YAML, and yeah, this is the YAML, and you can actually go ahead and edit that YAML from here. This is, again, as you can see, this is the UI. It's extremely, like, it's not ugly, but it's not the most user friendly at the same time. We can work on the font size. We can work on how the cards are looking. So again, this is something that the backend absolutely supports. You can write in any pattern that you want, and the backend would not only the backend would process it, it will also ensure that anything that you're attempting to do, that is actually safe and stable, because it creates a execution plan inside internally, and then it will go ahead and try to check if the execution plan is actually feasible or not. And only if it is feasible, then it will actually go ahead and do anything. Only after that, it will actually touch your infrastructure. So the backend functionality is extremely robust, as far as I know. And I work on this particular section the most. So if anyone basically tests this out, and if you face any issue, ping me or or tag me on Slack. I'll respond. So yeah, basically I was talking about that. This particular functionality is extremely stable, and yet the UI could use some help, use some work. So if you're interested, please go ahead and yeah, start contributing. This is the second section, that is patterns, filters. And application is simple. Application is basically just like patterns, except for the fact that you can easily deploy applications. What does that mean? So when you actually try to deploy applications in Kubernetes, it's not only one thing that you have to do. You have to create a deployment. You have to create deployment comes with the replica set configuration as well as pod configuration. At the same time, you have to set up a service. And if you are running if you are actually doing production stuff, you won't be exposing at a load balancer. You would be running an ingress controller, and then you would also be configuring your ingress so that it points to that particular service, and then service points to pod. So basically a lot of stuff that you have to do manually. And this is just the bare minimum that you have to do so that you get applications actually visible on your cluster. And the next thing is that you want to do fancy rollouts, that you want to do blue-green deployments, you want to do canary deployments. That's something that also Mystery supports. Support is right now minimal. This is also another section that we are working heavily on. So if you are actually So if you are actually interested in this particular thing, that is adding these particular fancy functionality of having dynamic rollouts and having basically anything that's sophisticated on the backend side. The backend is actually written in Golang. So if you're interested, please hit me up, or again, you can actually talk to Meshmates, as Anita was pointing out. Meshmates are basically the selected folks who are capable of helping you out. So that's application for you. Performance is something, instead of running a performance test, let me just try to show if I have some previous one. Yep, I do. So when I clicked on performance, I saw this. I get to see this dashboard. This is actually showing what all tests were run earlier, what all performance profiles are there, and if I would have configured a Grafana and Prometheus dashboards, it would be showing charts in here, like what is the CPU usage right now, what is the memory usage right now, how many code routines are running, let's say. So those kind of things it would have been showing here. It's not showing them because I don't have a Grafana or Prometheus running. This is a bare minimum installation of Meshri. Let's go to the manage profiles. These are all of the performance profiles. Performance profiles are basically nothing but some defaults. So I clicked on the card, it rotated, it's showing what performance profiles I have. So right now, this performance profile is going to test an application that is running on localhost :8080. It's going to use 4th as load generator, the test duration 60 seconds, and all of the information that you can see. The service mesh that I was running when I ran this test was Linkerd. And when I actually hit on test, this was the result that I got. I can actually click on it and it will show, it will basically show the graph. It's saying 100% error, so probably my service was either down or there was a networking issue or something like that. Had this been not down, I would have seen probably a different result. Apparently, I was testing something out with 4Theo. Okay. We also support multiple load generators if someone is interested in fancy load. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Let's come in here. This is a model which is actually the performance testing model. You can actually configure your profile name. If you don't give one, we generate one. You can select the service mesh. If you don't select one, we automatically pick the one that is available in the cluster. URL test, which service to hit. And then you can actually select your load generator, which load generator you want to use for generating load. WRK2, 4Theo, and Nighthawk are options. You can actually go ahead and do some advanced options like setting up certain request headers, which could be needed for authentication. Let's say a service can be used if and only if you provide a certain job, or you have a certain attributes. Let's say you are doing blue-green and you want to mimic a user's behavior. In that case, you can actually go ahead and use this advanced configuration model. And the last one is actually conformance test, which is nothing. Basically, this is the accumulation of all of the results that come in from here. That let's say you come in here and you want to run SMI conformance test. When you would run SMI conformance test, the result that is generated would be actually available in this particular table. You can actually expand it and see how your particular service mesh performed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We are about a minute late. So if anyone has questions, shoot. And yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Atash. That was an awesome section. I know I learned a thing or two from this. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, this will be the right time to, take over the stage. Okay. No question, I guess. All right. Okay, so I guess there are no questions. Thank you very much, Atash. I really appreciate you for making our time to, come and do this quick demo. It will be really, really helpful, even for persons who will still watch the recorded section. So I really appreciate this. Thank you very much. Okay, I think that's all for Meshri. Do you have any other thing for us today?
Nope, I don't. If anyone has questions, though, we can probably take them. Or if don't, basically, I don't have anything else.
Okay, you can always reach out to him directly in the Slack channel. And if you have any further questions, don't forget to drop them as well. You can always bring up your questions after now. That's very, very fine as well. Okay, so just to give a wrap, yeah. And if you look at this doc, which we've already gone through, you're going to see a playlist down here for the newcomers call. So every single one of the calls we have, either during the newcomers call or general meetings, are recorded, and you can always refer back to them in case you need to refer to this particular demo much later when you want to set up Meshri on your end. Do well to look at the YouTube playlist, and don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share our content. Thank you very much. And then if you look at the top of this, you're going to see more information to help you better understand the community. Please do want to follow our social media handles, Twitter, and as well as LinkedIn. Thank you for that as well. So I think that is all we have for today's newcomers call. If you need any further resources, we have them listed out here on the notes. You can look at the learning path, which we talked about much earlier. You can also write down your request for a tutorial on this to-do list that are listed out. And then we have our discussion forum, which we created to help us, keep some content. I'm sorry, someone's saying something. Okay, all right. So we have a discussion forum to help us keep some content outside Slack, so we can always refer back to. So if you have any technical questions, very technical questions you want to ask, I'd suggest asking it on the Discord, because a lot of persons would also learn from it, and we don't have to look for it much later on Slack. So please do want to look at this and drop your questions. Sign up and drop your questions and your topics if you want to. And then our handbook, which we recently just launched, and you'll be seeing it on the website very, very soon. You can also find more information in the handbook on getting started with the community and understanding from our leadership down to contributing, and then the projects, then mentorship programs if you want to participate. And you can also find out more on the code of conduct and the frequently asked questions. So don't miss out on this. Do also refer to our community guide and handbook if you need that. And that is a wrap for today's newcomers call. I really appreciate you all for turning up for this meeting today. I look forward to seeing you in the forthcoming newcomers call as well as community meetings. Don't forget, we have our general meeting tomorrow, and that is by far the best meeting in the community. Every single person is going to be there. We're going to be talking about strictly community engagement and everything about community. So do well to join the community call tomorrow. Don't forget, subscribe to the calendar so you don't miss out on this. I'll also drop a reminder. Yes. Thank you all for joining today's call. That will be all for today. Do have a lovely day. Bye.
Hey, Anita and Utkarsh, I had a doubt.
Okay, yeah, sure. Please go on.
Yeah, so as I'm new here, so rather than directly starting with backend or front-end contribution, I wanted to start with the non-code contributions. So can you help me with that?
Okay. All right. That's fine. I'm sure I said that, but I probably didn't say it clearly. So if you want to contribute to the community and you want to contribute non-code contributions, that is very, very fine. We have the documentation aspect where you can help improve on the documentation. Most of the documentation changes will be on the repository. So if you're looking for an issue to fix, but then documentation related, you should also look out on the repositories. But then another way you can contribute to non-code is through writing blog posts, creating video content, and also doing the relational activities in the community. like for instance, if you go to the Slack channel, you see a lot of persons who take out time to welcome newcomers and help them with the necessary resources. That is also a great way to contribute a non-code related contribution as well. It will help you get to know everyone in the community subsequently. And you can also do other things such as promoting Layer 5 to other other members on social media. Quick, easily just sharing our posts and our content, as well as the awesome work that is done in the Layer 5 community. These are the different ways you can contribute to the community without actually writing code directly. I hope this has helped you one way or the other.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you need a helping hand with that, you can always drop a message in Slack.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, it was great to have you all here. Do have a lovely day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, folks. Bye.